What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody had a great weekend. It is back to work, and yeah, it's back to work Mondays. Although I had gotten through. Some of you who've been watching me for a long time, where I originally got my start was actually on the Benet Emery show. I used to do a lot of posts on Facebook and things, and Benet Emery said, I want you to be my sports guy on my internet radio program, and that's where I actually started doing so. The way this evolved was, I was on this show for 7 minutes on Monday nights, and YouTube started doing live streams at that time. So I said, why don't I do a live stream and start that live stream, at 9 o'clock as I'm getting set up to do my part on there. So it was kind of like the back behind the scenes look at doing this internet radio show. And I've been doing it pretty much almost every single Monday. Unless something traumatic happens, I'm in an airport and can't do a signal, or I'm on a cruise ship maybe, or I don't know, knocked out from whatever. But pretty much almost every freaking Monday and Friday nights, that's where it started. And I don't know why I got started saying that, talking about this, but it's funny. Oh, I know why I did. It's funny because something hit me here today with Leo. It's almost comical once it hit me because, Leo Bridgewater. Leo's my dog, okay? He's like Philly 500, although Philly 500 is chicken shit to show up in Dallas, and that's right. I'm going to continue to call that out until Philly agrees to go to that game. His new name is no longer Philly 500. It's chicken shit. I'm telling you, chicken shit to go to Dallas to see his Eagles that he professes is the greatest team of all time. But here's the thing that's funny too, is the Eagles have this arrogance that they have done so much great things, so much. They're so much better than the Cowboys over the last 15 years. We won the Super Bowl. We went to the Super Bowl. We're great. And then they go through and they say what you did. Even though, here's what I say in our defense, okay? I know that was old, but you have to look at it and say the Cowboys and the Steelers were the most dominant teams pretty much in the 70s. It's arguably. And you can look and say, that carried through until about the mid-'80s. I know we went to 3 NFC Championship games in a row, couldn't get over the hump, but that was the beginning of San Francisco. And of course, the Giants came along and they were really good, and Washington was really good. That was literally the heyday of the NFC East, with the exception of the Eagles. Seriously. The 80s and the 90s was all about the NFC East. The Giants won 2 Super Bowls. The Cowboys won 3. The Commanders won 3. And the Eagles weren't there. They weren't there. But here's what's funny. Here's where it really gets crazy, because the Eagles have literally become what we used to be. Because what it used to be, when the Eagles hadn't won a Super Bowl, do you remember what their fallback was? I'm sure you remember. We got 3 world championships. Like, world championships were bigger than the Super Bowl. Like in 2 in the 40s and 1 1960. As Leo put it, we won the last world championship. Bro, until you finally won a Super Bowl, y'all went back to 1960 before I was born and bragged about your world championships. And FYI, I believe the Lions won like 5 of those, and I believe the Cleveland Browns won like 9 of them. And so now when we say, well, you know, we got 5 Super Bowl rings, and they're like, oh, but that's old time, man, that don't matter. So literally, the roles have reversed. They literally reversed. We used to say, World Championships, are you kidding me? There was only 10 teams, bro. At one point, you merged with the Steelers. Yeah. So, those who live in glass houses shouldn't cast the first stone. And the other part of this, I'll put into this too, with the Eagles. I'm sitting here listening to Leo and Eagles Nation, and they talk about all the great moves that they've made. You know, we got changes in coaches because they're not doing this, that, and the other. So, you know, if they're ass, they're gone. We'll bring in players. Okay, I get that. So, on the grand scale of things, just like last year, coming off of being the Super Bowl runner-up, the bridesmaid, and you go out there and you make moves like going and trading for Kevin Byard and bringing in DeAndre Swift and making all these moves and stuff, where the Cowboys have done nothing forever. Somehow, the Cowboys mollywopped you in the last game we played. And you guys were a bigger disappointment than the Cowboys. Yes, we became the number 2 seed that nobody thought we were going to be. Nobody thought we were going to be. And we lost to the Green Bay Packers. Everybody thought you were going to not only win the division, have home field advantage, and have the inside track to go into the Super Bowl. So you're going to tell me that we were a bigger disappointment, that we're a bigger disappointment than what you guys were? Come on, bro. And I tell you, you can call me a hater, because I guess I am. But I'm telling you, Eagle fans, you don't want to hear it, but the writing is on the wall. When you go to the Super Bowl, you start getting worse each year. Look at some of the teams that have been there, with the exception of Kansas City. Tampa Bay, they won the Super Bowl with that super team. Kind of went downhill. The Rams kind of went downhill. You can go back to looking at the Carolina Panthers that still haven't recovered, or the Atlanta Falcons. Something happens to you when you lose that Super Bowl, that you go downhill. And that's the natural progression of it. I know you're Eagle fans, or should I say, ego fans. But it's going to be a rough year for you. Trust and believe that. But then again, what do I know? I found out this is where one man's trash is another man's treasure. Stay tuned to the end of this video because I want to show you what was really magnificent. Here in the country, they had, I'll say it was Mount Trashmore. Basically, it was the city dump, landfill. And of course, when you get finished with the landfill, you basically cap it. You know, it's basically wrapped in rubber, so that way it doesn't leach. And then they put vent pipes, so that way it lets go the methane gas and stuff out of it, so it doesn't blow up. And of course, they bury it, and trees grow up, and grass grows, and everything else, and it becomes a mountain. Well, it's the highest point here in the city, and it's east of the city, and it's the highest point of the city. And what they did, they planned it for about 10 years. They spent the last year working on it, and they have turned it into an incredible park called Sunset Park. And from there, you get a great view of the whole city. And it's perfect because you're seeing the sun set over the Shenandoah Mountains. It is so picturesque. It just opened up this past week, and I took my lovely bride there, and we watched the sunset. And I told her, that's what I said to her. I said, honey, you know, I heard somebody saying that when you kiss your significant other at sunset, it means that you'll be meeting in heaven. She said, really? I said, that's what I heard somebody say. And so, gave me a big smack. I said, she was like, who said that? I said, I did. Anyway, remember, good people, especially at this time of year where it is literally nothing going on in the NFL, stop and smell the roses. And that's exactly what I did tonight with my wife, and I loved it completely. And remember, tell the people you love how much you love them, because you might not get the chance again. And I love you guys. And God willing, we'll all see each other tomorrow. Peace out.